Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sitting through the intro. So, exciting news. Looks like Alpha 16 is basically right around the corner. The dev notes have been updated for the end of this month and or early next month. So Alpha 16 is literally right around the corner. Considering that it's the 25th and there's only 31 days in this month, so we're going to see Alpha 16 pretty soon. He also tweeted out earlier as well here too. That picture that you see is my thumb. He tweeted that out and also stated that Alpha 16 soon, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty freaking pumped for that. So cheers to everybody. How's everyone doing? Hey, Games for Kicks, how are you? You still in work? I bet you're pumped as well too, man. Those skyscrapers, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I should have dragged them onto my stream for the stream here today. That is unfortunate, but that was great news. Um, I almost spit out my coffee when I seen it. I was a little late on the news, I guess, but oh, it's amazing. It's looking awesome. Hey, Cupcake, how's everyone doing here today? I'm almost out of breath. I'm not excited. But yeah, like literally, I gotta get Cooney done now. We only have the one side done. At least if I get it done and you guys don't get to play it, at least I get a personal satisfaction. But now we really gotta run on Cooney Hills. We have all the red blocks I need, I believe. I don't think we have to make more. Um, and we have to do the hay bales going down the one side and get that done. Um, I can't wait to make Alpha 16 content and just be excited about all the new stuff. It's gonna be amazing. Guys, there is no haircut. No haircut yet. If Alpha 16 drops soon, I might be fucked. This hair might end up staying. I'm gonna no life that crap. There is so much coming up. They confirmed so much for Alpha 16. Said they're gonna push a few unimportant things ahead, such as like replacing the pig that's in the game. They've replaced all the other animals. Stuff like the potatoes and 3D crops. They can do that after. What they've done is they've taken the unimportant stuff out and confirmed everything else. So they've confirmed code lock, and this is what they say in their exact words. Where is it here? Possible experimental release end of May to early June. So basically, very soon. So yeah, we got to get going on the Alpha 16 here. Oh, I know. I can't wait to climb around that. I think it would actually be fun doing Horde Night on the building under construction. They'd take that down pretty quickly. That would be pretty challenging. Don't cut my hair until Alpha 16 drops. No, you know what I should do? I should cut my hair when Alpha 16 experimental drops, and then not cut it again until Alpha 17 drops. So we'll see how long the hair goes until we get the next one. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, guys. We're pretty pumped. But we should probably get to some game work here. Get Cooney done so we can go ahead and I could be satisfied with what I've done in Alpha 15. All right, so we're gonna start that bad boy up. I'm gonna also turn up my headphones so I can hear what's going on, and I'm gonna turn on the desktop sound so you guys can hear as well too. I can't wait. There's stuff like I'm really looking forward to, like the no passive healing and stuff, and like the random feral zombies. Some of the zombies will just be randomly feral, which is friggin' amazing. I love it. It's good. The sneak system, I love it. And apparently your headlamp, this is what I seen in the thread as well. Your headlamp light at night will attract zombies. Amazing. So they've brought some more immersion into the game. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Have I been shopping yet? No, I'm actually going grocery shopping tonight. I'm getting it done. I made an appointment. Yeah, I made it official. I put it on my calendar. I'm like grocery shopping, 5 p.m. No excuse. The little guy this morning went and apologized to the big guy. So it's a good sign. They're still separated, but maybe he got maybe I had to put the little guy in his place so he knows where he belongs. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm actually completely lost on what I'm doing here. We need to do the red trim along this side and get that done. And we need to put down some more hay bales. Just shave half your head? I should do like the Canadian hockey season, or the hockey playoff hair. And, ooh, I gotta make sure I don't land on that road again. I really don't want to play my Joel fail. Here we go, and bam. Love it. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be sad to say goodbye to this, but I'm gonna be saying hello to like those giant skyscrapers. I almost want to do a playthrough of just redoing the skyscraper, or building a twin. I don't know. There's so much you can do. Hey, how you doing now, Christian? Hey, Bo. How's everyone today? Jolene, how are you? Joseph. But yeah, there is. Oh, I got so pumped when I seen that. I had to share that with everybody. If you want to see the tweet and or the actual dev notes that states what's happening in Alpha 6 or 16, I almost said 17. Both of the links are actually in the description of the video up at the top for you guys. My favorite is when they release the patch notes. I'll sit there for like an hour and a half reading them. Especially this time around, too, because I know a little better than last time. Okay, we gotta make ourselves some more hay bales here. Oh, games for kicks. Again, to no lifing Alpha 16. That's amazing. Games, when experimental does drop, what I'm doing is I'm wiping my my public server. There it is. I was waiting for that. Thanks for the support, man. What I'm doing is I'm wiping my public server, and I'm going for 16 hours, but I'm gonna try for 24. I know I can do it, but I'm not gonna guarantee it. But I'm doing a charity stream during that time, and any donations put through at that time will go towards my local soup kitchen. So yeah, should stop by then, man, for sure. But I'm definitely gonna be no-lifing Alpha 16 like crazy. I want your game save. I know, I gotta put it out. It's the problem is the size of the game save, so I gotta figure out how to really shrink it down a lot. Because it's a big file. What I might do is I might put it on a torrent and then just share it that way. Cause and then when I like need to stream or something, I'll just turn the torrent off and you guys can share it with each other. Cause that's the only other way I can think of like logically sharing it. Other than that, like all the other services are expensive. That's the thing that sucks about that. You know what though? I could put it on. Yeah, you know what? I could put it on because I was going to say that would expose my IP address, I guess. But I could put it on whatever those services are called to move your IP around. I haven't had to use them ever since Netflix took that trick away where you could watch American content by using one of them. I haven't used one, so it's been a while. Stop complaining. Sweet. So I do have my HUD up. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know, games. Probably what I'm gonna do is when it does drop, I'll we'll test the server for a few hours, make sure everything's working right, everything's correct, and then what I'll do is probably go and sleep as long as I can. And then as soon as I get up, I'll be doing that stream. So it'll be such a long stream anyways. It'll be pretty easy to catch. You follow me on Twitter and stuff. Well, we both follow each other, but you'll be able to see it then too. I can't wait though. I am so pumped. There's so much coming up in it. Just like even the new stuff, like the zombie vultures and getting rid of the hornets. I never liked the hornets. I was never really a big fan of them. The vultures look pretty slick. Okay, so we got some lead in here. Oh wait, we don't even need glass. We finished the side. You know what we need to go do? I'm so flustered right now because I wasn't expecting all this to happen already. Like I was expecting like 2-3 more weeks, 4 more weeks. Again, I didn't notify you. Hey Jamie, how you doing? Hey D, what's up? So that thumbnail though looks spectacular. I'm gonna have to really up my game in Alpha 16 as far as all that stuff goes. Okay, let's put those shears away, and we have to grab some of those red blocks and go do some dangerous ass side of the building. So I got 5. You know what? I should grab whatever else is in here. What do we have? Oh yeah, we have more than enough, I think. And we have to go do some skippy math as well too. You guys know how well that works. Take that. Oh no, I like that machete. We're gonna hold on to that. It's gonna be hard to say goodbye to this, but Be nice to say hello. DY. Boteen Cupcake, how you guys doing? Hey June, how are you? When Alpha 16 drops, full console. SMP, dude, I'm sorry, I don't have like an in or anything, man. All I basically do is when something comes out on the forums, I relay that information over to you guys. Other than that, that's how I get my information. The best way to get it first, other than like looking out for a random video, is to actually just go to the forums, man. Okay, so we got to figure out where the middle is. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, they're 19 across, that's right. So, where's the middle to? I think it has to go on 9, and then it's in the middle. I think that's how we worked it. Well, the front didn't work that way because I had to build the... I made the ladder on the outside of the building. It's actually one of the things I did regret doing with this build, because I couldn't balance out the red blocks, and that kind of that sucked. What we have to do now is we literally have to crawl along the side of the building and do this. So this should be fun. It's gonna be an interesting experience. This side wasn't bad because I had all the hay bales down for the most part. But, as you could tell, like this is middle right here. But because I built this thing going up the side with the ladder, this side's actually bigger than this side. I don't think it looks bad though, but I would have rathered it go the other way around. Jay, holy crap, dude. No lifing Alpha 16. There it is. Thank you for the support, dude. Yeah, we're definitely a lot of us are gonna be no lifing that Alpha 16 for sure. All right, I probably shouldn't have any more coffee today as well, too. Kind of feel like walking around in circles. Oh, Lex is back to normal. He's doing fine. I think they just kind of both learned their place in the house. So I'm gonna slowly introduce the little guy back to the bigger guy. I should bring him to the vet on Friday as well too. That would be a good day to do it. Especially if Alpha 16 is going to be dropping, I need to make sure that there's nothing crazy I'm going to have to be taken care of. You know what? Now I forget where the red block started. We're going to have to go take a look at that. Okay, it is the bottom and it's 1 block in. And what I should do is actually mark the middle. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this should be the middle pole here if my excellent math skills are on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh wait, no, that's not even close. Okay, what did I say it was? 19? Maybe. Oh, you know what I need to do? There is no middle. That's why I'm a little confused here. There we go. And then the next one will go up here. So this is the middle. There's 1 line here and 1 line here. Durr. That made a little more sense. And then there should be 9 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh, wait. Are we? Let's double count this shit. Oh, yeah, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button on the video. It always helps push it up in the search results when people hit that 7 days to die search, especially if they're pumped about Alpha 16. I was not expecting like all this news to happen all at once. It's pretty awesome. That's okay, Andrew. Like I said, it's dude, just being a viewer is more than good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the more you interact with stuff, the better. You know, like tips are cool, but what really matters is you guys and your interaction with the community. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. I've made a few mistakes. Actually, on the other side, when I first was doing the framing on the other side, I actually fucked up the end part and actually had to collapse a piece part of the building. It really sucked. I'm almost done with school. Can I get ahead for that? Yeah, I know. And you know what's cool? If Alpha 16 drops, like, pretty much now, it's a perfect timing because experimental will roll through. They'll work out some of the bugs with experimental, and then it'll actually drop as an update as everyone's getting out of school for the summer. Like, what better timing could you have for Alpha 16? We can all know life that shit. All right, so I'm gonna go up here and start from this side. What I'm gonna do, I think, is because there's hay bales on that end, I can jump off. I'm gonna go up, and then I'm gonna go across, and then I'll jump back down. Then I can come back and then go across, and then up, and then jump back down. That'll work. Ah, I'm so pumped for this. Okay. See you later, Kix. Yeah, have a good one, man. Enjoy the rest of your shift at work there, dude. Thanks for stopping in. Always good to see you. My stupid app froze. You might want to turn down the quality just a bit. It might help with your lag on apps and stuff. Okay. Whew. Thanks for the support, Games for Kicks. That's funny, man. Have a good one, dude. Thank you, MUA. Welcome to the channel. Okay. Oh, sweet. We're up at the top. So, what I have to do now is I actually have to go straight across. This process is actually really, really quick. It's not hard, but it sucks if you fall because then you have to, like, create big, massive nerd poles and... it's just not fun. So what I might do for the other end just to get it done... Oh wait, there's hay bales upstairs. So what I could do is go do the hay bales at the far end and do the same technique on the far end. I can just jump off and then like do half and half. Okay. I tried to log on to the server and kept failing EAC. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on, Kevin. EAC's been a little sporadic lately with issues. There's nothing we can do about it. Unfortunately, I can't sacrifice turning EAC off on the server. That level extra secure, that level, or the extra level of security goes a long, long way. I have 3 other apps currently updating. Oh, that'll do it. What's the news for Alpha 16? It's gonna be dropping soon. Did you see that thumbnail? That was actually a picture Joel posted like an hour ago, of skyscrapers that are POIs in the game, and he also stated experimental soon in it. And the dev notes were recently updated, like really well updated, showing what exactly is going to be up in the update. And it also says this specifically at the top of the update. Possible experimental release end of May to early June. And that was updated. Must have been updated less than 22 hours ago. Because Roland updated the original post and changed all the stuff confirmed. And moved a few unimportant things. Like what they want to do is they want to rechange the main menu and stuff. So what they said is, okay, we'll push this a little bit ahead and release it after as another update. Because it won't cause you to wipe stuff, right? So yeah, they really separated exactly what is what and where is going where, and also said like the end of this month, early next month, and that's literally a week. Like within a week, that's both. So that's pretty damn exciting. It looked pretty good from the video. I was pretty impressed with it. They always update at the most inconvenient times. I love the times they update. Anytime is good. I can't wait. It's a good thing I made a server tour video. I might have to make another one soon. Maybe like an overall one. Oh, look at that. We're to the end now. I can actually go ahead and jump down and do that other section. Here we go. Cool. Look at that. Like one of the easiest parts ever. So now I gotta pull up that way, go across, and then go back up. Skippy will make Windows great again. Like Windows? Windows? Like Microsoft Windows? Because that'll never happen. Ugh, it's been like gross and rainy and just disgusting here this week. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow, so I am definitely 100% taking all of tomorrow off. And just spending it outside. This face needs to see some goddamn sun. Like, even with the lighting, I still look way whiter than I should be looking. I need to have less reflection going off of it. I need to get this hair cut, and I need to go fishing. I should do that tomorrow, go fishing. Salmon fishing, they're running really well right now. I was watching some fly fishers pulling them out of the rapids left and right. Oh, and they look so fresh, too. Hey, Black Saw, what's up? Disco, is that still a thing? Should be. The windows in Cooney. Oh yes, these windows, this giant building of windows that we're working on. Oh, we're actually literally, all I have to do is finish this side of Cooney Hills. I might have to go a little bit more with hay bales, so we might have to make a trip and go get some plant fibers, but that's not hard with the shears. And then I'm gonna see about distributing it. Yeah, there's some pretty cool builds on the server. It's gonna be sad seeing them go, but it's also gonna be very nice to see the new stuff. Like there's some stuff in here that's really freaking cool. Like for me as a builder, electricity. Well, I can't fucking wait. I'm learning out on that. But the jail cell door that's working in vanilla, iron bar block with the outside, center, and inside edge rotations. So instead of that stupid iron bar being like in the middle of the block when you rotate it, you can rotate it up to the top or the bottom of the block. That's pretty fucking sick. So you don't have any weird lines. So like if you want to put iron bars along an edge, it doesn't drop down. It actually goes nice and smooth and will be flush to the top. Oh, that's just those little details will make such a huge difference in base building. All right, we gotta go up now. 460. What is it? 468 is Horde Night. Okay, Google. What is 468 divided by 7?
The answer is approximately 66.857.
Must be 469. Okay, Google. What is 469 divided by 7? Giggity.
The answer is 67.
Ah, 469. Okay, we still have a few nights to Horde Night. That's good. You know what I should concentrate on, actually? Is getting all the hay bales in here. Because I haven't really had them spawn down here. It only happened that once. And I don't know how it happened, but it did. It was a really weird Horde Night. Okay, so the trick I'm going to use here, actually, is I'm going to go out with this rebar frame. And then I'm going to fill in these 2 blocks. And then what I'll do is I'll take this rebar frame out. And hay bale that shit up. Because that's realistic. I wish that worked in real life. You'd just climb to the top of a mountain, be lazy, be like, whatever, see ya. Jump down. I made Himshi Castle. Is that what that is, Jay? I thought that looked familiar. I've thought I've seen that like exact style somewhere, which is cool, right? Because if you really think about it, almost every shape in the world is inspired by another shape. So, but I can't wait. Like there's other stuff as well too that they got going on. That's really cool. The unified block system that allows for 24 rotations of blocks. That is insane. That is friggin' awesome. So you pretty much rotate every block in every direction. There's a lot of limitations on the blocks in this game for rotations, like weird ones, like the wedge block. How you can't rotate it in certain rotations. Sick. Okay, let's go back up and let's grab the hay. Oh, you know what? Let's actually go back up and grab the. Oh, it's 20. Oh, it's almost nighttime. Okay, we need to go. We definitely need to go and get some more shit. Is there any up top? There's only going to be a little bit up there. I'm not really concerned about that. Yeah, we're going to have to go... Oh my god. That just happened. Anyways, I'm going to have to go and get some grass. That, by the way, guys, is 100% always going to be my fail screen. And you know what? Ever since I've seen him do it, I've been doing it myself more. I'm gonna have to unbind that sometime. Now it's bugging me, actually. Yeah, it's pro bales. That's what it is. Man T, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Chat is just going insanely crazy. You really make me want to play and build shit again. Oh, just wait. Wait till Alpha 16 drops. It's gonna be insane. I'm going to be making a POY pack, Alpha 16. I wasn't going to do a Let's Play, but I might do a vanilla Let's Play a couple times a week on Alpha 16, because I think that'd be alright. What I'll do is I'll go with a goal of like finding a skyscraper and redoing one on like a single player vanilla playthrough. I think that would be like a nice short goal. It wouldn't be like a long drawn out season. I think that would be okay. Alright. What did we come up here for? My shears. We gotta go and get some grass. Okay, they're in my tools. I should actually make the shear stick, because this is my old shears, which actually doesn't have an icon. But I need to make the shear stick. This is my second revision of it. Okay, I need forged iron and mechanical parts. Well, I definitely have a lot of both. So we're gonna go on there on that. Let's grab some metals. Here we go. And bam. Okay, so let's go get ourselves some more plant fibers, because we need to make a shitload more hay bales. Like, even more than that. And let's do it at night. Hey, Blacksaw, how you doing, man? Whoops, time for more coffee. Cheers. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna be honest with you, pumping out a Let's Play every day is a real big challenge on editing, because it's a fine balance between editing and recording and personal life. And not only do I just like make videos, I run that public server and stuff, and I do all the modding and stuff myself. So I got that. So it's a lot of work. So I don't think I'll pump out one every day. What I'll do is I'll just make sure they're very well edited when they do get released. So, whoops, I just hit my mic. Did you guys enjoy that sound? Did you hear that? Was it fantastic? What the fuck is that shit? That is a bear. Hey, bear. I hope they don't take that away, because that's just fantastic. Hey, crawler. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use my headlamp. This will help. There we go. Oh, that's my actual machete. My shear stick is red. There we are. Oh, my mind's going crazy right now with all this stuff we can do in Alpha 16. Because with that paintbrush, guys, I can whip out POI packs like nothing. My goal is, and this is like what I want to make some big ones. But altogether, I want to have about 200. Hey, Colin Graves, how you doing, man? Thanks for the super chat. That one was nice and on time. What I want to do is make at least 200 or 250 POIs by Alpha 17, and have it available in the POI pack so it generates in the random gen. That would be pretty freaking sick. Now, I am going to have to reach out to the modding community in that case, because like distributing it and working them so that they go into like a random gen, that's going to be a little new to me, but that's okay. I'm excited, because it'll really drive me to learn that stuff. If they take that away, I'll never eat. I know, right? There's no passive. There's no like, see how my stamina's gone now? So the thing with this is, if you're using the shear stick, you like, your stamina's gone. Like, it depletes it on you. No matter how high of a stamina and how high of a rate you have, it's just gone. And I thought that was a little bit of a better balance. And it does no entity damage anymore, so it won't damage zombies and crap. Biscuits and gravy for the whole chat. Oh, we're feasting today. But yeah, no, it's like Alpha 16 snuck up on us. The notes have changed. It's say the end of this month or early next month, which is like literally this week. And Joel released that sick thumbnail I have up. That picture of the skyscraper and the building under construction. Oh my god. So yeah, you know what though? I was panicking a bit when I saw it. And I'm like, oh shit, how am I gonna distribute Cooney Hills, right? And then I remembered, well, still it's experimental. You can always go back to Alpha 15 and play around with Cooney Hills and then drop back in experimental. It's not a big deal, right? So yeah, you guys will have some time because not everyone jumps on the experimental train. Some people just like to watch. They don't want to mess around with it because wipes and stuff, and you know, stuff happens. How's the weather up there? It is rainy today, but I'm glad for that because I can get a huge stream going today. We can be all hyped and shit. And then tomorrow I actually will be taking off, guys. There will be no stream tomorrow. It's supposed to be real nice out tomorrow. So there's a lot of stuff I need to get done. I need to get the little guy to the vets. When Alpha 16 drops, I'm literally gonna have no life. That's okay, because that's a life I prefer. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I'm on my way. Yeah, like even I'm actually surprised. Even my server's been pretty damn busy, even with Alpha 16 like right ahead. It's like it just people last time, like it's gone a little longer this time, but I noticed last time servers at the end really died off. Like no one played it. Like it just completely died off. But there's still a lot of active new players. A lot of Spanish people I find. A lot of them. I don't have the notifications up here. Doppin, Justin Rudd, and Agur Katuin. Welcome to the channel, guys. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the subs. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Yeah, I might go fishing later in the evening as well too. Catch myself some fresh salmon and go and buy a smoker and smoke myself some salmon. Oh, my mouth is watering. I love salmon. Base tours were sick yesterday. Please bring us more. Yeah, I definitely have to. Like, we'll see like how close it is to dropping. Like, maybe I'll go again early next week and take a look at the bases on the server and maybe do like a big huge last minute tour of like all the big bases, like Jay's base, all the big bases on the server. We'll go check them all out. But you know what, guys? I can't do that on my own. I'm gonna need your help. So if you're on my Discord and like you're part of the server, which you usually are, they go hand in hand. Like let me know. We need a list. Like even if you can let the mods know, and the mods can let me know, because sometimes it's even hard on Discord to catch up with what happened in the chat. Wishing real life hacks. yeah, that'd be nice. You can get around a lot quicker. You know what, guys? I will tell you a guilty pleasure I've been into lately. And one game that it boggles my mind I've never picked up or heard of. Because I'm a builder. And I like City Sims as well, too. Banished. I didn't even play vanilla. I watched some vanilla playthrough. I was like, so I did the colonial chapter overhaul on it, and oh my god, it is so addictive. It is so addictive. It's fun, but that game will be put on the back burners. Like all my other games will be put on the back burners for the next little while. Sorry, hobby channel. You guys know how it is. Those other games I follow on my hobby channels are in early dev anyways, so it's not like they're due out tomorrow. Oh, you know what? I should get rid of this. Because I don't want screamers. I know, I need to do creative verse base tour and stuff too. Because like I don't just like do 7 days to die. We've grown communities and other stuff as well too, like Boundless and Creativerse. Creativerse is really taking off right now. They just came out at alpha, and like if you're a builder and do like building at a rapid pace, but still like a little bit of a survival aspect, it's a great balance. Stupid grass making shadows. Shit was freaking me out. Okay, how much do we have now? Almost 3,000. Cool. Still need to keep going though. Oh, you know what? I should actually go ahead and start turning some of these into hay bales. Oh crap. Suck it. Oh, my stamina's low. See what I mean about being left open if you're mowing the lawn? Stupid decayed mother. Ooh, I will take those sham though. Colin Graves, would love to see you chat with some of the guys on your server on a video. Would love to see how they came up with their bases. That would be really cool. And thanks again for the super chat, dude. Don't feel though that those are actually necessary to catch me in conversation. I do try to catch it sometimes, but when it goes too quickly, it's sometimes it's way too challenging. What am I doing? We are doing some lawn mowing right now because I need to make hay bales. To fill up the one side and stop spawning, and also for a spot to run off and fall off. They serve many purpose. Hay bales. You guys have no idea how much I am pumped though for Alpha 16. After seeing those skyscrapers, that made me want to do a Let's Play. Like that's the type of thing I've been lacking for the Let's Plays, is just ugh. So I might, you know what? I might not do a Let's Play this weekend. What I might do is what to expect in Alpha 16 video, like a nice big refresher for everybody. Because I can edit it well and like show you guys actual shots and clips of stuff that's going to be upcoming. Hey Bo, what's up? Welcome back. Such an efficient way to get rid of a corpse. I know, right? It's that slow beating of the meat. Well, you're actually doing it really quickly, but you're only taking little jabs. So, it's more satisfying, though, once you get rid of it. Is there Alpha 16 news yet? Yeah, lots, man. The official dev notes are actually in the description of my video if you want to check them out personally on the forums. I do actually encourage you guys, if you're active in 7 Days to Die and you really like the game, go to the forums, sign up, and be active there. My understanding of the game really took off when I did that. Like you can go watch every 7 Days to Die video under the sun, but when you actually like have that forum kind of thing going on, or like even on my Discord, sometimes I have to ask a few questions. People are like, "Oh, this is how you do it." I'm like, "Holy fuck!" Know what I mean? Like just having those resources is really valuable. Omar, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for subbing. Yeah, you gotta beat the meat. Do it quickly, but softly. Yeah, I am so hyped. Like, that thumbnail looks so sick with the partially constructed building. What I want to do, the first thing I thought when I seen that building under construction, the first thing I wanted to do was go and take on the Horde Knight on it. Because it would be so easy to collapse, right? And honestly, like, spiders would have so many parts to climb up on. I wouldn't beef it up. I wouldn't beef it up at all. I want to see how long I would last a Horde Knight on that building. That would be insane. It would be a ton of fun. I'd have to unbind the G key so that I don't do this. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That made me laugh so hard. Best highlight ever. I signed up for the updates for PS4. Sweet. Yeah, like I said, whenever I see updates or news, I just pass it along to you guys. I have no secret inside track. I use the forum. That's where I get my news from. Tin Sliver, welcome to the channel, man. Thanks for the follow. Or sub, I guess. I used to stream a lot on Twitch. And on Twitch, it's follows, and subs are when you, like, subscribe and pay to subscribe to the person. So, I gotta get out of that habit. and just call them subs. So that's what you're doing. That's sweet buttermilk frosting. That's pretty sick. But yeah, there is some really excited change when it comes. Like, the sneaking thing. Oh, that's sick. So now, like, apparently they took a lot of the purpose out of spam crafting.
Funny guy. Huh?
So now at night, it'd be more fun to sneak around and try to avoid zombies than fucking hide somewhere overnight. You know what I mean? Now that they have the stealth stuff. Your mining helmet is going to attract zombies. Zombies will be attracted to light. I don't know if it's like spotlights and stuff, but it'd be sick, because that's, in my opinion, how it should be. Tommy, how you doing? Welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. What have I missed? I feel like I missed a lot. No, we're just out here pounding some grass. We are about to get some hay bales out of the deal. And we're actually almost done Cooney Hills. Like, we're actually really, really, really close to finishing Cooney Hills, which is pretty freaking sick. I'm pumped about that. How much do we have now? Okay. So I'm gonna keep making some more here. That'll also free up some room in our inventory. And maybe just toss aside some of this other junk. Oh, I need those. That's what I'm collecting. You don't need blueberries or anything. Or 6 wood frames. Oh. Oh, yeah. Erky Durky. Oh, you know what it is? It's a shear stick. There's one weird glitch with it. That if you look at something at the same time, you get that little thing stuck. So now it says lead at my pointer. I hope that doesn't go away for the rest of the stream. That'll be awesome. Just walking around calling everything lead. That's lead. That's lead. This is also lead. Oh, the night vision goggles, dude. Have you seen the new night vision, man? The night vision is sick. Yeah, the new night vision they have is amazing. Go watch Joel's videos on his channel. Oh, it's so cool. I can't wait to do the night vision stuff either. I wouldn't expect moving vehicles for a very long time, dude. Very few Vox games can pull them off. Minecraft can barely pull off boats. Even static games like Ark have a hard time with moving items, especially on servers. Any space building games with big spaceships that move that you can build block by block are like almost absolutely unplayable on multiplayer. So it'll be a while, and I'd actually be very surprised if anything like that's ever introduced, to be honest. To be realistic. And the meatball subscribe. Oh, that meatball sub the other day was delicious. I'm actually not that hungry this morning. I'm doing okay. Yeah, the night vision's pretty freaking slick. The whole sneaking aspect of the game, I'm excited for. I can't wait. Like, being able to sneak around at night with night vision goggles on, like, that always bored me. Like, I used to hate waiting on the overnights. Now that I can sneak around, I think you're gonna see a whole different type of, like, play style from me on Alpha 16, big time. Because it makes sense, right, just to avoid the zombies. But at nighttime, you couldn't really see them, and you're running around with a friggin' helmet on. Like, it just wasn't really immersive. But from what I seen, like, Joel was hiding from a zombie, and it didn't see him, although he was not that far away from him at night. That was friggin' awesome. Okay, how much do we have now? We got another 200 on us, 141 back at the place. Let's keep going here for a bit. How many did we bring out with us that first time and did up that corner? I couldn't even remember. I think there's about 500, maybe.
Get this guy.
I'm just trying to eye up how many blocks I need to replace there. Hey, badass, welcome to the channel, man. Thanks for the sub. Hope you're enjoying the content, dude. I'm in a meat beating channel. Hey, whatever. Fuck censorship. Except for what I don't want to hear from you guys. I'm gonna block you. Okay. Good old 0 stamina. Now I'm hungry as fuck here too. Let's eat some meat stew. Let's get some eats going on. So now I kind of got around the prefab items. No, not build block by block. It's because there is just a static world. You have a lot less going on with the processor and the memory. Because you don't have like everything you see here can change at any time, and the computer has to keep track of all of that, right? On like a static landscape that you can't change, half of that's gone now. And then if you don't have voxelized on top of the static, and if it's just like pre-built homes, none of that exists. So that explains like that a lot of people don't understand why games like this can't have insanely like insane graphics, is because 99% of the people that own PCs wouldn't be able to play it. It would be unplayable. Like there is ways to make the delivery systems and stuff better, but even still, like if you look at The Witcher, beautiful game, beautiful game. It took them a lot of work to try to figure out like an open world delivery system that made it look like that. And I mean, kudos to them. That game is friggin' amazing. I still haven't played it through yet either. I got to put more time in The Witcher. Hey, do you know about new for console?
Guy, huh?
Did any information that I pass along on my channel when I make a video and everything, I get directly right off the 7 Days to Die forums, man. Kalapa, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. Hey, are you serious? How you doing, man? Oh, I think I said hi to you earlier, but just in case. Cheers, dude. Watch out, there's a meat beater in town. Yeah, I was beating the meat slowly, but it didn't... By the time it busted, you know, it was worth it. I didn't get a screamer out of the deal. Your character is getting hungry. Fuck my character. He's at 28%. He's fine. It's using the shears. Like, it makes you go through your water and your food very quickly. And it drains your stamina like mad. So you're constantly at 0 stamina while using it. My first revision when I first started like learning about modding and stuff was horrible. You could break entities with it. I'm looking at UJ. Or you could hurt entities with it. It didn't do a lot of damage to entities, but it would literally like stall them. They wouldn't be able to move because you'd hit them so fast that they'd just be like, It was fucking retarded. And it didn't drain your stamina, so you could like just whip through everything, no problem. We actually mowed this pretty well. Took a lot of this up. Wow. Okay. Let's keep them crafting here. The crafting time's actually not that bad for hay bales, I must say. I'm doing well, Blink. How are you doing, man? I don't think you usually get a screamer when you beat your meat. Well, it depends. Yeah, if you don't break it down in time, then yeah, you're gonna get a screamer. I think it only broke down to the carcass when I was standing there, so I got real lucky. But literally, those carcasses don't take long to call in screamers at all. You got promoted from nut collector. Nice. Oh, are you guys seeing the ranks and stuff now? Like I was digging around with the ranks today, but it didn't seem to be working, and then I turned it off. Oh wow! Someone did rank either two earlier pre-stream, and it just said their name. I was like, okay. The bot guys we have in stream is a work in progress. The giveaways work, which is the important thing. The coins work, which is important, and then the rest is just pretty much frills. Yeah, I don't blame them though. Like if I found that on the server, it'd be like, hey dude, watch this, haha. And you could hit them like literally from like as far away as I can hit grass. You could hit the zombies. So you can see a zombie over there, and you could just like stand here and like have a coffee, and he would do a dance for you. Oh, I almost choked on that. Amazing. Oh, enjoy that. The death of Skippy on stream. Alright, so I'm bored as fuck with this now. So we're gonna head back and start putting some of these hay bales down. And the best way to find your mini bike, guys, if you ever don't want to lose your mini bike, farm out a large area of grass and put your mini bike in the middle of it with your light on. You'll never lose it. Yeah, and the flip coin works as well too. Yeah, I don't know. The ranks just they weren't showing up and stuff. Like they're set, but I don't even have that many options for the ranks, so I couldn't tell what was wrong with it. Whatever. I'll give them time to work on it. I could go and look and see if there's like a bug or a reported bug or a solution or something along the lines of that. Hey, do we have our auger on us? We do not, but we do have a shovel, and it's broken. All right, we're gonna have to go back and get our auger because I'm not gonna be dicking around with a shovel, digging up the dirt, sand stuffs. Ugh. Coffee. Oh yes. I'm doing dark roast today with some unrefined sugar and cream. Delicious. I love my coffee. Like I literally got up this morning, did my usual morning routine. Took care of the Dergs. They're both sleeping now. Happy old guys. Poured myself a fresh cup of coffee. Sat down, and went to look at the forums, and literally almost spit out my coffee at the news. I was like, "Holy crap! Alpha 16 is literally around the corner." So yeah, that's a pretty freaking exciting. We were all thinking like another month for Alpha 16. I literally was planning for like another month. But now we have to get this shit done real fast. Did I not transfer that over to my inventory, or did I drop it? Where the hell did it go? Like I said, kids, don't do drugs. Okay, we'll organize it. Oh, you know what else I need? I need iron bars as well too. Let's go look for some more of those. What the hell did I just do with my auger? Did I not have that? Whatever. I have augers for days. I just need to get this done. Or I had auger for days. The fuck's my auger? I give up. Rage quit. Recon Blue, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the follow. I'm so flustered today because my mind's on Alpha 16 now. Like I'm thinking of all the new stuff and what I can do. I've been not like trying to get myself hyped about it, but when I seen that, it was like a hype explosion all over my brain. A full open brain hype explosion. That's what it was. And this hair, I swear guys, I gotta go get this cut too. It's gonna happen tomorrow. No excuses. Even if I have to make an appointment today after the stream, I'm going to go get a cut. Cheers, Bo. What Alpha 16 is how far away? Well, the dev notes were released and they updated the end of this month to early next month. And that's like literally week. So very, very, very fucking soon. And we are in a hurry to get this done. Okay, guys, what did I do with my auger? You repaired auger, it didn't reappear in your inventory? Is that what happened? Oh. Oh my god. The things you can catch live, guys. The things you can catch live. Oh my god. I can't believe that just happened. It's in here. It's oops. No. Don't do that. I didn't want you to play again. Oh, whatever. Oh, you know what I gotta do is I gotta actually turn that off. I don't even know. Whatever. I'm so flustered right now, but it's there. I forgot I was making these fucking hay bales. We're having a moment. That's fucking amazing. I need another sip of coffee here. I'm gonna edit that out later. Alright. So let's put the machete in here. Put my auger in my inventory. We don't need the shear stick. And we need these hebels in my inventory bar. My tool belt. Oh my god. What was that clip? That clip was Joel dropping his bow on Horde Night. It's probably the best fail I've ever seen in my life. It's priceless. It's so fucking funny. It's just his reaction to it, I think, is exactly what my reaction would have been. I would have been just like, fuck. It's glorious. Just seeing a dev do it as well too is amazing. We're all humans. Stuff happens. That will never be not funny. I know, just like the sound in his voice too when it happens. It just like shoots his bow into all the fucking spikes. Amazing. Oh my god, I pissed myself when I saw that. Jamie, what's up? You are working today, right? I think you said that earlier. That's funny though. But yeah, there's so many changes coming up that I'm looking forward to. Like the bulletproof glass is gonna be sick. I think the game, at least in the building aspect of it, the game's gonna be a lot more realistic. Like Joel put in stuff like a washer and dryer texture that you can paint. So that's kind of cool. Like you won't actually have a lootable washer and dryer, but at least you won't have big empty rooms with nothing in them, right? Like, oh look, this is a washer and dryer. Not lootable, but you know, at least it's something to look at. A lot more filler stuff. So that's gonna be cool. I think if painting is done the right way, it's gonna be one of the best things they've done for the game. My fingers slipped? That's what she said. My school let out for summer break just as you started. That's awesome. And I know too, like a lot of you are just starting summer break or coming up on summer break. So having Alpha 16 stable release while you guys are coming up, oh, that's amazing. It's the perfect time. Even as a content creator, I couldn't have asked for like a better time for Alpha 16 to be released, to be honest. Yes, I'm in hell, I mean work. I knew you worked there. Making the house more realistic. Yeah, like he's got the stuff like the gutters and crap, and like there's rain gutters, bulletproof glass, 3D ladders. That's gonna be cool. So there's like no more stupid 2D thing, like kind of just floating on the block looking ladder. I don't think they're gonna be overhauling how you do the frames and upgrading. That didn't make it in the Alpha 16, but that's understandable. That's a whole nother overhaul of the block system. But eventually too, or I don't know, or maybe it is, and it's just not in the notes or something, because there's no like full out update notes yet. Oh, those are one of my favorite reads. Like when the Alpha 15 update notes came out, I like drooled all over them. Hey, Cool Diamond, how you doing? What do you do with the Dukes? Dukes are loyalty points you earn for being active in the chat. And what we do is we do giveaways and stuff with them. You can play the mini games with them if you want to, or you can use them for giveaways. A lot of people like to gamble them. A lot of people like to save them. It's all really up to you. Aw, sick. Look at this. This is so sick too. And Cooney Hills is almost done. Like I'm pumped enough about that in the first place. But when I like woke up today and heard that news, my day couldn't have gotten any better. And I'm actually thinking I'm seeing some sun pop out here today too. That's pretty exciting. I'm the real dancing bear. Nice. But yeah, like big hype on like Alpha 16, guys. Like I kept my head down this whole time because I don't like to get myself too hyped about something and get disappointed about it. So I'd like to try at least stay semi-realistic. But when I saw like the dev notes get updated like that, and then Joel posts like literally it was like 2 hours ago, that thumbnail, he posted that as a picture, and that's in vanilla. Those are vanilla skyscraper stuff. It's freaking sick. Freaking sick. Love it. Okay, we're gonna turn these into hay bales as well here too. Let's get the rest of these going. And the shortcuts to scrap stuff and do that crap, oh my god, they have it on console. But it's about time they get it on PC as well too, because I don't want to mouse everything, right? Like if I might rekey them though, because I do have a couple buttons on my mouse that I don't hit. This mouse is actually perfect design for me. That I actually have to reach and hit, that I can use. Like I'll assign one for like scrap, and I'll assign the other one, and just go like full pro style on the scrapping and stuff, because that saves so much time. You did rant a lot about painting. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like, if it's done the wrong way, it'll just make the game way too undesirable. Like, way too easy to reach. But if it's done the right way, it can actually be a real good thing for the game. I'm looking forward to it only solely right now at this point for making POIs. Making tons and tons of POIs. That new random gen system is going to be pretty fucking sick. And I'm really looking forward to what modders are doing. I need to reach out to the modders as well too. I want to incorporate it with them. Like, you know how there's a combo pack? I want to do the same thing as well too. And you guys will get to put input as well. Like, I might do some of them live. I might do Let's builds where I actually build the POI pack in the actual video. I don't know. We'll have fun, Alpha 16. We won't go standard, I think, for my channel. We'll try a whole bunch of different stuff. We'll have some fun. Jay is enjoying this way too far. That's funny. Oh my goodness, Jay. Walking Giants being a big downer about it. It's coming, man. It's coming. The fun pimps, dude, have learned their lesson for saying too much. So when Alpha 15 was coming out, dude, Joel said the same shit right before Alpha 15 dropped. So I believe I have no reason not to believe him this time around, dude. They haven't really been this like the last time they gave us an update, it was a tentative update. And honestly, like off that tentative update, it's only a week. You know what I mean? Like it's not even that far off. So if it drops, that's pretty fucking sick. Welcome to the channel, Macy. If you guys don't see your follow come up on the screen or your sub, it's because you have your subscriptions in your privacy settings set to private, so people can't actually see. We can't see as content creators when you subscribe to us if you have that setting, and the bot can't either, unfortunately. So get them nuts. Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing a huge stream, Alpha 16 release, and I'll be doing it on my public server as well too. As soon as experimental drops, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give people a few hours. You know what? We'll bring all the admins on the server or something, and if you guys want to blow your bases up, what we'll do is we'll go one at a time to keep the server in a stable condition. But we'll go one at a time to everybody's base, and we'll give you the materials to blow your base up or do whatever you want. We'll take screenshots for you, and then we'll wipe the server. We'll make sure experimental is running perfectly on it. Then once that is confirmed, I'm gonna go get myself some sleep, and then I'll come back and we'll do a huge stream, and then we'll raise some money for the charities.
Funny guy, huh?
I can't wait. I'm gonna no-life that crap. Honestly, guys, like playing 16 hours straight on Alpha 16 Experimental is not gonna be hard. So I'm definitely gonna shoot for a 24-hour stream. But I'm gonna guarantee at least 16, unless something stupid happens, like the power goes out or like the internet goes down. You guys know how shit can go. But we're gonna go for it. And if that's the case, what I'll do is I'll go get some more rest, prepare again, and then give her another go, give her another shot. Tomato King and Battlefielder, welcome to the stream, guys. Thanks for the subs. Hope you're enjoying the content. Oh yeah, well, when I first started playing 7 Days to Die, I played a lot of single player, and then I went to multiplayer. And I started on this one server, and when they went to wipe to Alpha 14, I didn't get into multiplayer until Alpha 13. But when they went to wipe, that's what they did for everybody. They're like, you want to blow your stuff up, you want to have some fun, here you go, enjoy, because you won't be getting it back, right? It's gone forever, so you may as well let it go out in a blaze of glory. Oh, you know what I should do? That would make a sick video, actually. A way to like commemorate or just say goodbye to it all. I should record it. That'd be pretty sick. Because I can use my one computer to admin and my other computer to record it. Oh, there's gonna be so many sick videos once Alpha 16 comes out. I can't wait. You gotta get a squirrel modded in. Oh, that'd be sick, a zombie squirrel. Just like replace a chicken with it or something and make the chicken squirrels. The squirrels should still drop feathers because that makes sense. Mmm. Delicious. I'm always hungry. Oh, that's funny. 24-hour streams are really easily done if you're smart about it. You drink a lot of water. You take a 5-minute break every hour you stream. Get up, move around, stretch. About every 5 hours, you take about a 10-15 minute break. You know, that way I can let my dogs out, get all that stuff done. Have eats. You don't eat big meals. You just eat stuff like power bars and crap like that in between. And it's actually really easy to go that long. And you don't do stuff that that'll tire you out. Like, you won't see me drinking coffee and stuff. Maybe towards, like, the last few hours of it. But even then, it's still kind of a waste. But yeah, you won't see me drinking coffee because it burns you out, right? In the long run. I love my coffee, but I'll have it at the beginning. But, like, if I continue drinking it throughout the whole thing, I'm gonna feel like ass. Like, I'll literally feel like I'm hungover. I made that mistake on my first one, so we won't be making that one again. And if you guys haven't done so yet, definitely hit that like button. It really, really does help the algorithm, guys, and really does help the channel grow. It's not something I've wanted to do. I'm not really big into, like, you know, trying to force people to hit the like button. I think it should be organic, but with the YouTube algorithm, it really, really does help now. Again, constantly changing. Okay. Not a rare squirrel drops feathers. They should drop squirrel feathers or something. Drop nuts. I like that. Oh, okay, we have 284 more to go. I was gonna say, holy crap, we only got this much done. Ooh, we're gonna have to do a lot more hay baling. I forgot how much effort hay bales were. Like, it's not a lot of work. Mowing grass and stuff is actually really freaking easy, but it takes a while. Takes a while. We've been at this now for an hour. Well, we went and mowed down a whole bunch of grass and made hay bales, and then came back and started making more hay bales. We got half the red blocks done, so we're actually almost halfway down the building. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to make another trip for grass here soon. Maybe on the overnight again. That might be a good overnight experience. I think that'll work. What's for Luco? What? Hey, what's up, Trevek? Yes, Capino, what you're doing. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, every hour you have to get up and you have to move around. You have to get that blood flowing. That's big and important. Like, even if you work an office job and you sit down like that, it's very important that you get up and move around. Like, even getting up and stretching and just doing, like, a few movements really helps. I noticed it too, like, sometimes, like, when I was doing my Let's Plays every day and they were starting to get, like, really dragged out, like, I'd literally be sitting in this chair for, like, 8 hours a day trying to make the Let's Play and doing the editing and crap. And yeah, like, my shit would be sore afterwards. Holy crap. This weather's got to get nicer too. I'm an avid bicyclist, and it's been an okay season. I've gotten out a few times, but it hasn't been really, like, if it's not sunny, it's raining. That's what I mean. There's been, like, really no in between, so
Get this guy, funny guy,
but it's still almost summer too, so that's gonna be sick. It's gonna be Alpha 16. It's gonna be Alpha 16 fishing, bicycling, and summer, and it's gonna be a good summer. Way better than last summer. I'm in a way happier place. Hey, Shields, what's up, man? I seen that. Get an extra cord. Oh, the electricity I'm excited about as well, too. You know what I loved about Fallout 4 was the electricity. I dorked out on Fallout 4 big time, guys, on the base building on that. Like, honestly, I found Fallout 4 base building way better than games like Rust and crap. Like, even Ark. I fell in love with that kind of base building. That eventually, I think, like, 7 Days to Die, once you have, like, raiders and everything, and the AI all in, and just, you know, it's working properly, like, being able to have, like, legitimate villagers that aren't all janky, and, it's gonna be really nice. I can't wait for that. Even the modders are starting to do that stuff, though, now, too, so, it's there, it just needs a lot better framework. Which province am I in? I am in Ontario. Hey Joshua, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Alcohol is disgusting. You don't drink, Jamie? That's actually funny because I don't drink ever. It's just something that hasn't come up. I like I might have a drink every now and then, but honestly, I've gone through that stage, and the hangover is just not fucking worth it. Yeah, I was younger, I didn't have the hangovers, but now if I try that shit, it happens. Oh, look at that. We can do the other red side now, but more importantly, we need to go and work on getting more hay bales going on, because we're almost down to the end. We actually don't need that much more. So let's go and get some more grass here. Get some more grass done. Gas or grass. Now there's other great alternatives to alcohol if you do prefer to have yourself a non-sober time. That are they're not healthy, but they're not nearly as bad as booze. Wood. I don't. I'm gonna keep my wood on me. Okay, let's head out. I do still have my shear stick. That is good. We're also gonna get rid of the small stone. Awesome, guys. I could taste it. I could taste Cooney being done, and I could taste Alpha 16 all at the same time, and it is a beautiful taste. My roommate drinks after the pot of coffee is gone. Whoa. Whoa, that's rough. That's one thing I never did, though. I never did morning drinking. I've been afternoon drunk. I've been there. I've done that many times. Yeah, I can't do that anymore. Like, it literally makes me unproductive for, like, a whole day. Like, a whole day of unproductivity. You get depressed after a while, after being like that. You know what I mean? Where am I going? I am so pumped about everything right now that I can't keep my mind straight. I was like, when I tried to, I was like, where the fuck did my auger go? And it was in my queue because I was making hay bales.
Get this guy. Funny guy, huh?
Jaden, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. Hey, Mike, how are you, man? I'm so pumped, though. So pumped. I'm gonna have to start pumping out 2 pre-recorded streams a day, because I've been streaming every day, and I'm like, I think the one I put out today was the 20th, and today's the 25th. So what I might do at 4 o'clock p.m. is put out another pre-recorded stream. You guys wanted it, and a lot of you seem to watch it, so why not? It doesn't seem to do anything to my statistics either, which is good. That's what I was most afraid about, actually. But now they're, I think the streams are a little more watchable after the fact, because you can see the chat, you can see what I'm interacting to. I've heard from a lot of people when they watch the stream videos afterwards, they actually get more involved reading the chat than anything else. Because like when I'm doing stuff like this, instead of just seeing this for like an hour, you get to see what the chat was saying. You know, you can kind of see what my face is saying. Sink? Am I? Oh, sing! I was like, sink! Dude, I'm on land. That's a little hard to do. Oh, look, there's a backpack. Probably nothing good. Ah, nice! Score! I'm taking that home, not sharing with anybody. That's my empty can, bitches. Was that seriously what I got from that? That's fucking hilarious. Should be able to record it. What? Pay for what? Eh? I'm very confused. Have they not a solid date, dude? But if you go read the dev notes, the Alpha 16 experimental is going to be released the end of this month or early next month, which is literally, today's the 25th. Next week spreads into 2 months. So Alpha 16 is literally around the corner. And Joel posted that sick picture, that one that's in my thumbnail. Oh, look, I'm wandering hard. Joel posted that as a picture today, like a few hours ago even. That's a POI that's in vanilla on Alpha 16. Both of those. That's fucking sick. I'm pretty sure those are random gen, because I think they took everything from Navisgain and put it in random gen. Oh, that was sick. That was sick. Sickness. And we will finish these guys off. I have a little bit of stamina back now. What's up, bro? Here we go. Stay down. I need grass. Nothing like spending the whole day getting yourself a bunch of grass. Why we need a lawnmower? Oh, this works. This works just fine, dude. Think of it as a scythe. Oh my God, we went over this before as a community as well too. Is it a scythe or a scythe? It's a scythe, right? Fuck, I forget how to pronounce that damn word. Hey Jason, what's up, man? I am seeing so many familiar faces today. Freaking amazing stream we got going on. Oh, well, hello. Apparently there's more. Let's take them out with my machete. It's quicker and doesn't use as much stamina up. Another one bites the dust. Oh crap. Little easier to miss their heads though. Where are those guys going? Cool. They could just continue on their way. Oh, you know what? I should take care of these guys before nightfall. Take care of these guys, because they'll sneak up on me. At night, I won't be able to see them. Stupid grass. You're in my way. Okay. Fine, you want to be picky? Hitting them with, like, 0 stamina. There we go. Getting grass sounds like an excellent afternoon. I wish it was this easy. So much better. Actually, in Canada, in about a year, it will be that easy. Go Canada. Hey, what's up, this gay guy? How you doing, man? You went to school at Chateauguay? Yeah, there's did you see the laundromat as well too, guys? This is a POI, the laundromat that's hiding off to the side. If you can see the passive majesticness of the skyscraper and the one half assembled building, or the building under construction, there's a laundromat beside it. That's fucking sick. Like, oh, it's gonna be so much fun exploring all over again. And then, you know what's even better? Is a few months after that, mods will start firing up again. They'll have their mods all... Because mods are always a work in progress in an alpha. Because they have to change every single time an alpha drops. So it takes a little while for them to get going. And there'll be POIs coming out the wazoo, I think. With the painting tool. We're going to see a lot of cool POIs and shit. Yeah, see you later, Jamie. Enjoy your lunch. Good having you here again. Have some Subway and think of me. While you're putting it in your mouth. That a girl. Let me put the link in Discord. Oh, guys, as well, too. If you want to come and join the community and be all over the Alpha 16 hype, especially when I launch my server and I do that big-ass stream, because it's going to be, I guarantee you guys, it's going to be hard as hell to get on that server on experimental launch. When we do launch the server on experimental on the first one, it's going to be 100% vanilla. There will be no mods, there will be no bot, it's just going to be vanilla, period. But don't get your hopes up. We may have to wipe it, start over again. What we're going to be doing as well too is I'm going to have my community look for good generated maps, like really nice looking maps that are laid out really well, and we'll choose a map for when stable comes out. And then when stable comes out, we'll keep that map. Hopefully I can figure out how to balance Alpha 16 so that we can run a whole alpha map again, because the map I have right now... Where the fuck are you? Oh, there you are. You're down there. The map I have now... I don't even know where I was going with that. I'm so excited about all this shit. I can go on for hours about the same thing over and over again. Come here, buddy. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Good boy. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a ton of fun. It's gonna be a blast. You know, because I love vanilla on a fresh alpha. There's nothing more fun than just rediscovering the game again, because it's like a mod, right? But it works better than a mod because it's actually developed by the developers and built into the game. Like mods are great, but they're hacked into the game, right? So you have some like janky stuff going on sometimes. Oh, love it.
Get this guy, funny guy, huh?
Warning Z, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. I hope you're enjoying the content. Jesus Christ. It looks like we're gonna have to do some babysitting here today. See you later, Mets. Bam. Skippy bachelor pad. Yup. I can't wait. I'm gonna build some cool ass shit. I want to build a an ice rink. What I'm thinking of doing is actually doing a replica of the Air Canada Center. Oh, you know it'd be sick for POIs if I did like an NHL pack. And did like all of the arenas. Oh my god, my head's exploding, guys. You guys have no idea. Oh, there's so much I could do. Like have like different random NHL arenas spawn in the big cities. That would be so sick. Cole, welcome to the channel. Thanks for the follow. Imagine collapsing that skyscraper. I'm sure the physics worked exactly the same in Alpha 16. So it would become a floating monstrosity in the air. Did you guys, like, if you were watching this playthrough early on in Alpha 15, when I collapsed a hotel, it ended up floating until we went and fixed it all. Thought I heard more zombies. Alright, let's start turning these into hay bales. Oh, I already had that shit up and going. Look at that, 218 already. We're doing good, guys. I am so fired up today. So fired up. So many materials. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Now, obviously, when I do my POI packs, they're gonna be on creative. Like that's a given, right? Like building that stuff in survival. I'm gonna obviously do some builds in survival 100%. Like that's my thing. But I now have a purpose for like a creative use of the game, because like even Minecraft, I never liked building in creative, but being able to build in creative and share stuff with you guys at a rapid pace, that really excites me. So I'm gonna have to get a little better at creative mode as well too. I had a lot of practice building the server, but I think this will help me get a lot better as well too. I feel like a 5-year-old and Christmas is next week. Basically, that's how I feel right now, man. Like I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm taking tomorrow off, but on Saturday when I stream, I'm probably gonna look tired.
Get this guy, funny guy.
I'm gonna be a tired little guy with my hot cocoa. Far Cry Gamer, Far Cry. Far Cry Gamer the Hacker, welcome to the stream, man. See, guys, I swear, it's coffee that keeps me fueled and speaking correctly. Where can you get the auger blade? You gotta look in working stiff crates, man. That's the best place to find them. I do believe you can find them in cars as well, too. I found augers in cars. But yeah. I don't know, like, the auger is one thing I've never had a hard time finding, ever. That's one thing that's never been a challenge for me. On my PS4 playthrough, like 300 and something days, I think. It's past a year. This playthrough is a lot longer now. But my PS4 playthrough, fuck, I still haven't found a nail gun. It's insane. There's always that one thing you just cannot find. Oh, and remember on my PS4 playthrough, for those back in the OG days, how I couldn't find corn? I had a hard time finding corn. That's right, I could not find corn. Out of all things, like even in the plains and everywhere, just could not, there was no corn. It took me forever to find corn. It was unfortunate. I can't either due to waking up. Hey Nanya Bisney, how you doing? Madison Cube Garden from Futurama. You know what? That might be possible with the paintbrush, because then I can't mod in any blocks. They have to be universal. You have to be in the actual vanilla version. But what I can do is use the stronger steel blocks and paint them different colors, right? Oh my god, this game's gonna get so fucking colorful too with like the colors. There's gonna be fucking colors all over the place. It's gonna be insane. I literally want to do, like, if I do my single player, like, go and paint the town red, or paint the town red, and then after that go and find all the red doors and then paint them black. And only a few of you will actually get that reference, but I think that would be fun. Paint the whole entire town red. Everything's just red, and then go and fuck the red doors and paint them all black. Frozen lumberjacks. Oh, there's gonna be so much cool stuff, and they got rid of the UMA zombies. So say goodbye to Horde Night Leg that we had before from the UMA. They also added in the ability to use a slider on how many zombies per wave you want, up to 64. It goes up in increments of 8, I believe, up to 64. So that's pretty fucking sick. So if you want 8 per horde, or 8 per wave, you're good to go. If you're one of those people that wants 64 per wave, you're good to go as well too. But actually, you know what? I'm really looking forward to Horde Nights again, because I think they'll perform well without the UMA crap in it. I'm thirsty. Let's grab a drink. And I also heard a zombie, so. Where you at? Oh, they're probably down near the house. I don't see any over that way. Alright, let's give her. Oh, I need food. I didn't need water, I need food. I wasn't even looking. At least I'm cooling off now. Didn't negate food. Maybe I'll eat a couple just for health's sake. I'm on day 508. Awesome, man. Okay. Love it. Getting that health and stamina up as well too. How much grass do I have now? Can I make more hay bales? I definitely can. How much do we have now? Well, we're getting there. It's gonna be awesome. I just got to day 800. Cool, man. See, like, days to me, guys, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, you can put your day cycles on 10 minutes and go, I'm on day 9,052. You know what I mean? Which is still impressive, because you put a lot of time into it, but it's on 10-minute cycles. Some people are on 50-minute cycles, some people are on 60-minute cycles, some people are on 2-hour cycles. Like, if you're on day 100 on 2-hour cycles, you put a lot of time into the game, you know what I mean? Or like even day 200, just pretty much double it. What's with the panic? What panic? There's panic? People are panicking? Is there a disco? Hey MD, what's up, man? What's going on? Guys, MD's up in the house. Actually, MD, Games stopped in again here, right at the beginning of the stream. You missed him, man. He's like friggin' Pokeroo to you, dude. I swear, man. But guys, if you have not yet, definitely go and give MD a sub. He is a good guy. He has plenty of great dad jokes. One day when I become a dad, I hope to have jokes of his caliber. But there he is. You can just search Midnight Designer or go directly to his link. Cool guy. Cool guy. But yeah, here we go. Slap up some more discs to get some more of that. And we'll let my brain go into squirrel mode here again. Like, I'm literally not even thinking about what's going on the screen right now, guys. I'm envisioning builds in my head right now that I'm going to be making. Oh, I'm so going to be no life in this shit. I got to stay healthy, though, obviously. And then I always say that. What I'm going to do is, because it would be nice out, too, probably. Like, even going biking for 2 hours a day makes me feel incredibly healthy. It's good exercise, and it doesn't really stress you out that much. Vlog Artura, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. Sorry about the pronunciation. Panic at the grocery store. Yeah, I gotta go do groceries tonight too. You know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I gotta go do groceries tonight. I'm gonna buy my 24-hour stream stuff. I'm gonna go buy like some power bars and shit and have that all ready. Yeah, I'm gonna get that done tonight. That way, if it does drop on something like, imagine it dropped on fucking Saturday. So I'm gonna go get that all fucking done. Oh, it's gonna be a blast. I can't wait for it. There's panic going on about Alpha 16. Yeah, it's gonna be coming out very, very shortly here, dude. We're all pretty fucking jacked about it. Very jacked. If you guys want to see the actual thumbnail image, down in my description is Joel's tweet, which also says Alpha 16 soon. And the actual dev notes of what's going to be in Alpha 16, like the preliminary notes, are also in the description as well too. It's the official 7 Days to Die forums.
Get this guy. Funny guy, huh?
Welcome to the stream, Vakrine. Thanks for the sub. And if you guys haven't done so yet, slap that like button down in the underneath the video if you haven't done so. It helps push the stream up in the search results and gets more people in, more people hyped, and gets the damn word out because we need to hype up Alpha 16. It's been way too long. Hey Ace, how you doing? Joke time with Midnight? Of course, of course. Midnight Designer. This is what I'm thinking about doing, man. When Alpha 16 drops, I'm actually not going to get my hair cut right now. When Alpha 16 drops, what I'm going to do, experimental, is I'm going to go cut my hair. And then I'm not going to cut my hair again until Alpha 17 drops. How about that? We'll keep the hair going the entire time. That way we can have like a visual gauge of how long it's been between alphas. Wait, what do you think about that one? I think that would be great. It saved me on haircuts. And give a purpose to the madness. Because it should last in the winter as well too. So it'll keep me warm in the winter as well. I like my winter mane. Holy crap, I can't even keep up with the chat here. I'd watch that. A slow gradual growth over my videos and streams. I need to stock off on coffee. I just recently did that. My favorite brand went on sale and it never goes on sale. So I bought like 12 packages of it. I have coffee for months. Not even days, months now. Wow, look how much we've shaved this area down. We've taken a lot of grass from here. Be very quiet. Come here, buddy. Walk down the hill. No, he's gonna turn around and bam. Haha, see you later. That guys, you'll very rarely see me pull that shit off. Although I do sad to say my aim got way better with this new mouse. But it's still not that great. $7 per month saving? Oh, dude. No, actually, a good haircut here is like 20 bucks, man. It's not cheap. I don't go to the cheap ones. They always tend to like butcher my hair. I don't know how you butcher like an average buzz cut short, but they always manage to butcher it. It's like they can't follow the contour of my warped head and make it look straight. We paid a few extra bucks and it makes your head look straight, so I appreciate it. Princess Skippy of the Squirrels. Cupcake. Where's my tiara, bitch? You can't be saying that stuff and not put out. Alright. I think, guys, it is a good time to do a quick coffee break here. And does a giveaway of just simply points. Hit that like button, guys. We're going to do... I've been experimenting as well, too. These giveaways actually help promote the stream. The more that's actually going on in the chat and the more that people interact with the stream, the more it promotes the stream and it goes up in the search results. Who's here? How you doing, man? I actually seen you over on Discord. Did you just subscribe to the actual channel? But welcome anyways, dude. A lot of people find me from different avenues. They'll find me from my server or from Twitter or other sources as well too. So it's always interesting to see people joining from different mediums. All right, so I think we're good on hay bales here. How many more can we make? Yeah, we got another big chunk. So what I'll do is I'm gonna ride back. I'm gonna get a giveaway going. And we will take a quick break. It literally takes me like a minute to pour a coffee. So you guys will see the break screen for like a minute. So don't freak out. Don't go anywhere. But you know what? Actually, screw it. I'm gonna do a giveaway for a $10 Steam card. Yeah, we'll do a $10 Steam card. We'll do an actual legit giveaway here. So we'll do a $10 Steam card to give away. And you can actually thank the people in the stream that laid down. Hey, dude, you were flashing the $100 bills, man. It's way better than the bench, dude. Don't hold it against me. Or Subway sub wrappers. Those are my favorite wrapper to eat. For a $10 Steam card, that giveaway. So this is going to be cool. Everyone's allowed to enter. The entry cost is 3 dukes each. And you can enter as many times as you have dukes. So you'll have to enter once, 3 dukes, another time, another time, another time. It's basically, you can't enter all in one line. I don't know why they did it that way, but that's the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to put this on a 5-minute duration. And we're going to start that raffle up. So make sure you guys get your raffles in. You should see a $10 Steam card. There we go. Exclamation mark, Alpha 16. I'm going to go pour myself a fresh coffee and I will be right back. And we're back. See, told you guys, doesn't take very long. So while we're on this break here, we still have 3 minutes. 3 minutes until the raffle happens. I'm gonna go quickly over here exactly what's going on with Alpha 15 or 16. We're gonna get hyped about it. So the spawn and AI improvements create a new volume-based sleeper system. We saw a little bit of that, and the sleeper helper points. These are things that are actually in the game. If they're not quite in the experimental release, I'll let you know. The blood mood dynamic and sleep response all use a partying and dynamic difficulty game stages. So now the spawning won't be the same on day 1 all the way through to day 100. As you become a higher level, you become more skilled. You'll get more spawns, and that's actually kind of cool. I can't wait to see that work. I'm pretty excited about that. The electricity, it's actually going to be in it. Generators, solar panels, or battery banks to power electrical devices. New powered traps. These are pretty fucking epic. We have new powered traps that chop zombies, burn them, and more. Pretty fucking sick. Run wire from power sources to switches to relays, pressure plates, and appliances. Appliances. That one still gets me. I don't know what they mean by appliances. That's pretty fucking cool, though. New wire tool. Oh, okay. I was about to make sure my mic was still on. I've done that before. New wire tool will attach and cut wires. So there's going to be a new tool for all that. Blocks and building. They got the jail cell door coming in. The iron bar with the outside center and inside edge rotations, which is pretty slick. Now your iron bars can actually sit flush to the bottom of the block or at the top of the block or in the middle like they were before. So that's just having that option is mind-blowing as well too. They have outside corner stairs. I forgot about those actually. The outside corner stairs. Oh, that's going to make like building details and stuff so much better. Uh-oh. It looks like my internet went on the fritz there for a second. I'm gonna have to take a look at it here. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, wow. It's down really bad. Uh-oh. Ooh. Uh-oh. Okay, so we're gonna wait this out for a second here. Uh-oh. 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 What's going on? Oh, it's going back up now. Oh, no, now it's back down. Oh my god, what is going on? Not this crap again. I just can't have a good day, right? I can't hear about Alpha 16 and just get her done. Okay. Oh, there he is. There he is. Are we back? Are we back? It's green. It's green. It's green. Some temporary just must have just happened. Okay. Okay, maybe it's not my internet. Maybe it was just like the service. Or oh, now it's back down. I don't know what to say here, guys. Okay, we're gonna do the giveaway. I'm gonna at least get this done here, just in case the internet like full out drops. Looking outside, it's really really windy all of a sudden. I think we're getting a storm, so my internet might go car funky. Okay, I think we're fine. A little bit of lag. Screen now. Screen. What was that? What was that word they used to use in anger management? The movie Anger Management? Goosefraba? Goosefraba. Goosefraba. Yeah, no, that's okay. That was just some weird blip. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Let's go ahead and draw the winner, guys. Sorry about that. Kenny Torres. Congratulations, dude. Get a hold of me on Discord, and I'll get you after the stream with the $10 Steam card, man. Enjoy. Internet kills television. Internet just kills everything at this point. All right, so let's get the game loaded back up here, guys. Oof. It came close to almost dropping the stream, but we made it through that. That was really weird. Oh, don't do it again. Okay, we're fine. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. I don't trust it now. I don't trust it. I did have problems browsing earlier, though, and I did restart my modem, so. I like how it says $10. $10? Yeah, congratulations, man. Congratulations. I know, it's very, that's actually the thumbnail for the stream, man. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, guys. Unfortunately, it's like extremely windy right now. I can see my neighbor's tree bending into my view, and it's like literally 5 feet away from my view, so I shouldn't be able to see it. I'm gonna have to, I think, shut this stream down a little early today, guys. I'm sorry, but definitely hop over to Discord there, man. I will give you your reward here as long as the my internet stays up. And yeah, guys, thanks for an awesome, successful stream. We had a whole bunch of people turned out, a whole ton of support. It was absolutely amazing. You guys are fantastic. Maybe later. Maybe I'll come back later and do a late stream. Maybe we'll do a late stream. I don't know. We'll see how things goes. Because I'm taking tomorrow off, and I really wanted to get that one side of Cooney's done, and we're so fucking close. Like, we're literally, like, 2 hours, I think, away from doing it. So, maybe I'll come back later tonight and do that once this weather clears up. Because, yeah, like, shit's flying around out there. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, have a good one, guys. Stay classy, and I will see you either later today or on Saturday. Peace out, and Alpha 16 hype. Big time. Have a good one, guys. Peace.